Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back to another episode of FDR Logging, because we're FDR and we're logging. Alright, so we're just going to kind of continue on where we left off. I can't actually remember what we were doing when we left off, because I haven't played in a little bit here. Right, we were forwarding this stuff out, and we had these piles up here. So we had the option, we were making the option, to either skid this stuff down the hill, which I think we might do, just because we can, to a flatter spot, because our processors are really, as you can see, obviously a bad angle. So maybe we'll walk this back down the hill, then we'll get ourselves a skidar, and bring it down the hill as well. Then we'll process everything into shorts, and we will leave it down here for either, we could probably either walk that one loader down, or we could just keep forwarding it up there too. It's not a long way to forward, but we could save ourselves the effort for sure. Oh man, this is ugly here. Okay, so I'm not actually going to park the processor directly in the way of where I'm going to build the deck. I'm going to actually hide it over in here a little bit as I try to readjust myself. Okay, so we're parked backwards. So that's okay. We're just going to leave it right here. And then what I'm probably going to do is I'll skid that wood down through here. So maybe what we'll do is we'll paint this out a little bit here. Let's paint this out just a little. Give ourselves a little spot to work with here. And that's kind of where I want to bring it to. Yeah, and I'll dump it in here, and it's going to slide around, do some funky stuff. And then I think what I'll do is I'll process it right into this little cove here. That's my plan anyway. So in order to do that, we're going to need a skidder. So actually, this is good, because we had a question from a member on the YouTube channel there in the comments regarding which implements go with which machines and which ones work better for other ones. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. I can't remember the name of the person that put it there, but you know who you are. You posted it. So basically what they want to know is what implements, and when we say implements, we mean a grapple or a buncher or a processor head or whatever, which ones pair best with what machines. So there's basically two categories of machines that I have in the game. There's high cab loaders, which are tracked loaders with these tracks that have a really high cab on them, like super high up. And then you have the lower cab machines, which I don't have any, I don't think, in here right now, because I'm using all high cabs. But we're going to go through this little list here. So here we go. So these are our high cab loaders. So log loaders, anything, the LLs are pretty much anything with an LL is a log loader, which are the tall ones. And then any of these other ones, you'll see these all have these really super high cabs on them. And then all of the other ones have these lower style cabs on them. So basically an easy way to do it, technically you can attach any single implement to any one of these machines. Any single one of them. You can do basically whatever you want with them. But there are certain ones that work better with others. So for instance, pretty much everything except a buncher head will work with these high cabs. So these high cabs are perfect for almost everything, but not a buncher head. Don't put a buncher head on a high cab. The tilt on them does not go back far enough to actually bunch properly. You'd have to have the arm stretched out as far as it would go, and it's just not a realistic application. There's no high cab. Well, I won't say there's no high cabs. I've seen one time on a Medill, but there's no normal high cabs that have buncher heads attached to them. These are all for processors, for grapples, yarding heads, felling heads, stuff that's not a buncher. Then anything on these units, the lower cab machines, will take bunchers, processors, grapples, you name it. And if you scroll down here, so here we have our buncher heads. So these types of heads do not go with the high cab loaders. Do not attach them. It'll be a bad time for you. These types of heads, the buncher heads, should only go with these lower cab models. Anything with these type names. If it has an LL after it, a log loader, do not put a buncher head on it. That's my only advice. Everything else is entirely up to you. So all these grapples you can attach to low cabs or high cabs. Low cabs or high cabs, and some will work better than others based on their reach and based on the way they work, but everything else other than buncher heads will work with these grapples. So that's the thing to remember. No buncher heads on the LL high cabs. I mean, you can if you want, it's just not going to be a good time. Yeah, and that's basically it. So that was a really good question, because I don't know if I've gone over that in the tutorials or not, but that will be a great reference for this video. So again, these are the high cabs, these big tall buggers. And just putting a buncher head on them not only is miserable because of the height, but also because of the arm type and the way it curves. So what are we gonna do? Maybe we'll do the Clark skidder, because we're gonna do some winch skidding, and this is a winch only type machine. It's built with winches in mind. There's no big grapple in the way, so it's only for winching. And what we're going to do is be doing winching stuff downhill. So I'm going to tab to that, and we're actually going to cheat, and we're going to teleport it. I love this mod because it lets me cheat. Let's put it, I think, about here. Woo! Wow, we just missed that trailer. That's lucky. Okay, so we're gonna do some cable winch skidding today. That'll be kind of fun. We're gonna sink around our forwarder here. And this Clark is a massive machine. They are huge. I've actually seen one of these in real life, and it is a godly, huge monstrosity of a machine. Like, yeah, it doesn't. This game doesn't do it justice when you actually get next to one of these things. Like well, I mean, it does do a little bit of justice, but they're huge. Like, it is crazy. And the one I saw locally here was an 880. I don't know if it was an advanced one or what, but it was like, oh man, it was a cool looking machine. Huge. So we need to grab our winch line by hitting R. We're going to drag that out, and I usually try to attach it to the most middleest log, if that makes sense. What is it again? Because I always forget. It is B to attach it to a tree. And then every single time you got to hit R, B. And then we got to hit R, and then we hit B. Whoops, and sometimes it does that. R, B, R, B. Do we get that one? Yes. R and B. There you go. So this one isn't going too far here. What do I got my winch on? This one. So I'm going to cinch it up a little. I don't need to lift it right up, but I just want to get a little pressure on it. So I'm not bringing this load very far at all. I'm going to actually just kind of see if I can get it to go a little this way if I can. Oh, I think it's going to go wherever it wants. We don't really have much of a choice. I want to get it close to this edge here. Yeah, let's go about there. And then Y detaches all the logs, so we can just leave it right there. So that was a nice, easy, short skid. We didn't have to go far with that. Now it's going to get a little uglier because we're going to get some weird loads and weird shapes and weird stuff. And as I pull on some of these, they might not go the way I want them to. That's part of the joys of the game. So I usually try to back up to the pile, not like super crazy close, because we do have a winch, so we can kind of play with it a little bit. So again, I'm going to hit R to bring that out. And then we're going to hit B to attach it. Let's turn this off. R, B, R, B, R, B, R, B. I don't need to say this every time, but I am. I think you guys get it. I don't need to repeat it. Here we go again. At least you can kind of do it from a distance, which is nice. Let's get that one and that one. I think I got that one down there. Did I get that one? Can't tell. Ah. Yeah, maybe. There's one like way under. Yeah, that one way underneath. There you go. So I don't think it lets me reattach to the same log, so that's kind of nice. So you can kind of hunt along, make sure you got them all. I don't know if I... Yeah, I got them all. Okay, so now we got them all. And again, you pull your winch in, you can cinch it up. Oops, I have it on the wrong joystick here. So what is it in the menu? It's like Control K and Control M, but I just have it on this little button on my one joystick. So this one I'm actually going to cinch up almost right to the back of my machine. So it's right pretty much on there. Yeah, like right on there. So that way I can kind of control it a little bit when I'm going down the hill. So I want to bring it as close to this pile, so I'm going to turn right into her here. And just kind of camp it right next door to it. Right in yonder. And you can kind of like turn it a bit as you go. So as I'm going, like I kind of turn my wheels and I tilt. And then you can kind of push it back in there because we have it hiked up a little bit more. So like I said, sitting up higher. The other one we were dragging flat, but this one's sitting up a lot higher. So we can just drop it right in there. And then it's kind of lined up. I mean, it's not too bad. They'll start creeping down the hill here. Oh, don't do that. All right, so we're gonna get out and flip that because that happens if you run over sticks. This is God mode. You didn't see it. There we go. Okay, so now we're gonna do the same thing. And again, these will start creeping down the hill a little bit. Like they'll start kind of going this way and sliding out, just because the more activity we have around the physics, the game just is the game, and that's just how it be. Sometimes it just be like that. So again, we're going to get right up nice and close to these guys. Like, not too crazy close. Like, about there's good. I'm going to grab a tree at the bottom. So let's grab our winch line. And we'll hook it down to maybe that bad boy down there. And then I'm just going to kind of hunt the trees. These trees are on a super weird angle, so the winch is not loving what we're doing right now. Just because they're pinned up against that other tree. But that's okay. We will survive. Put a B there. And like I said, you can kind of hunt around to see which trees you missed. I'm actually going to put that way back there, way up here. And then if you missed any trees, they will highlight. But I don't think we missed any, so we're good. Okay. So again, cinching that up as much as I can. Now, we have some of these are a little further back, so it might get a little sketchy here. Yeah, I don't want to cinch it too much more than that. I think that's our max bet. Oh, they're actually kind of going through the machine, which is kind of weird. I don't know what's up. I do have collisions back there, I think. Maybe I don't have collisions back there. That could be part of my problem. Well, that's something I can do in an update. Shh! You didn't see anything! Well, I thought I had really nice collisions back there, but I might have moved them when I put the winches on and then forgot to put them back. That sounds like something a modder would do. Well, that's good. I can add that to my update notes here. Okay, so let's back that in there. I guess it must be just the tires that have been hitting up against it that I always thought was more so. You know, so we're going to drive this out of the way a bit more. Just a teeny weeny bit more. I don't know if that's going to give us a whole lot of room or not. Oh yeah, lots of room. Okay, so back up the hill we go. And I'm probably just going to do one more skid for now, and then I'll process that, and then we'll bring some more down. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to process some and then probably move some as well. I can't believe I don't have collisions back here. I got to check again. I thought I was crazy. Maybe I don't. Can I just walk right through this? Oh no, there's something there. What am I hitting? Maybe it's just the base. Anyway, I'm going to put collisions on both sides because now I feel dumb. I can't believe no one's ever brought that up. I guess it's not that important. Okay, so now I'm going to attach a little closer then, since we don't have collisions there, because some silly modder forgot to add them. I don't know who that would have been. And that one will bring... Maybe we'll bring that closer. I think we got them all. So we'll zip that up a little. Oops, I keep hitting the frickin' wrong button here. That's okay. That's part of the fun. See, I'm hitting against the back. I think it's just the side plates don't have collisions. I'll fix that. Don't you worry about a thing. Might have also taken them out for some reason too, but you know, whatever. We'll figure it out. Oh yeah. Oh, see, catching them on my tires, especially when you're on downhill, they'll try to get away from you there. Okay, so let's dump that right about there, and we're gonna go park Mr. Skidder off on this side here, so he's out of the way of our forwarder. And then after we process some of this stuff, we can come back and fix it all up. So what were we cutting to? I think 7s or something. Oh, it's set at 14. That's probably because we just did that last pile. So now we're gonna switch back over to 7s. So we're gonna have a new trailer. Actually, I wonder if we should clean up. I forgot we still have that deck up top there. I wonder if we should clean some of that stuff up before we process all this wood here. Nah, you know what? We'll stick to it. We know there's stuff to do in the background. We'll get to it when we get to it. We'll get to it when we get to it. That's kind of what I like, though, is having like multiple projects on the go, because then I'm like forgetting about one or I get bored of one, and I'm like, oh, cool, I can go do this one. I forgot I was doing that. And you get all excited. You know, as excited as you can get anyway. So here we go. Got a little, oops, there we go. A little tree here. Not an ideal processing angle that I'm working at right now. It's not super great, but we're going to try to work with it as best we can here. Like I said, see, like, this is a great example of, like, you're not sitting well. So if you're not sitting well, this will happen. You get this kind of wobble effect, where if I move back and forth, you're kind of teeter-tottering. So there is options. There's things you can do. In real life, what you could do is, if that's where you had to sit and you had no choice, you can actually grab logs and stuff them under your track. We can actually try it. I haven't actually tried it in a long time. Let's do it. Why not? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab this one because it's a bigger stick. If I can get it. It's a hefty guy. Again, you can, when you're processing, you can set your head at different levels. So if you're working at kind of a weird angle, you can actually set your start point like up here, because your furthest point down is like way down there. It drags. But if you're on a hill, it kind of screws you up. So if you kind of set the point a little bit higher, it'll feel like you're grabbing off that hill a little bit better. So here we go. We're going to cut one here. And we're just going to use one. I'll kick this back into the pile. We'll get back to it here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this stick. Oops, just the one stick. Thank you very much. We're going to try to stick it under our track. So we're going to put it right where our track was, which is about yonder. And normally with a grapple, it's a little bit easier because you can lift yourself up. So what I can try is lifting myself up with the processor head. Didn't really like the weight on that. We're at a weird angle. But as you can see, now I'm sturdy. In real life, it works a lot better than in this game, but we could just leave it there and see what happens. So we're going back to that same tree. We'll just keep processing. But as you can see, I don't have that teeter-totter effect anymore when I'm cutting, which is kind of what you're trying to get rid of. So I'm just going to sit here for a while and see how high I can build this pile on the hill. Try to make our pile actually somewhat straight if we can. Throw our tops up there. I think that log is slipping out from underneath us a little bit here, but like I said, we're still pretty sturdy compared to where we were, so I think we'll keep her. I could probably put those little ones in there, but I'm really just not into it. It's hard enough hauling these tiny sticks mixed with the big ones. When you put the really needle-nosy, sharp, toppy bits in there, it's not a great time. And just try to adjust that a little. Processor doesn't have an extreme amount of power when you're trying to do the downhill tilting stuff, but so many a time in real loaders, that's basically what I've done. Even in the sort yard that I was working, it's all flat ground, but there was a few weird benchy spots where we had to get creative, and the way the snow was and the ice was built up, you kind of had to throw a whole bunch of little sticks under the corners of your tracks and just kind of build yourself a little base. I thought it was fun. I liked it. Some of the other guys got really frustrated by it, but I was like, oh, cool. I get to like dig out a hole in the snow, and then I get to put a bunch of sticks in weird angles so that my tracks are sturdy. And man, it was fun because I was building something. It was like building a little fort. Back to my childhood days of enjoying fort building. So now I'm not reaching up the hill as much. So here I had the head adjusted to that angle, so I was up the hill. So now that I'm coming down a bit, I adjust the head just a little bit more. So I like tap it down, maybe about there. I'll try that. So we're still up the hill, but not like as slanted. And the more of a angle you have, like a degree angle of that hill, the more you'll want to tilt your head up when you're pulling down from like a bank or anything like that. So again, we could put those little ones in there, but I'm just not going to bother with them. And then basically what we can do is just keep processing until we're all full up here. And then we will bring some more wood down. And then I got my buncher at the bottom of the hill. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to end up winching. I'm going to try winching it up, winching the logs up, sort of like yarder style. And I might try to yard them with the actual machine itself, like the track machine. But we may just use the skidder too, since we got that here. I don't know how steep that skidder can work. I've never really pushed its limits. This hill down here behind us is pretty freaking steep on the downslope. Like if I turn this way, you can see it's a nasty drop. Like it's a long way down there. So maybe we can skid it. We'll try. But we got that winch line, so that should make our lives a lot easier. It should be a fun adventure. But as you can see, like going from Green River Valley, the map we were playing on at the beginning of this series, to this map, it's quite a bit more challenging because you got so much more weird angles going on and like strange kind of areas that you're working into. So it's a little bit of a different animal that you're playing with when you're here. It makes it fun though. And like I said, if you're willing to test your might, it's super great for Pushing your limits. See, now these are the ugly trees. I don't like these. See, they don't really, you know, I'm just going to toss that. I don't like it. They don't settle well in the bunks. They're all crooked and weird. I'll promise you this, though. In the next game, I will not make a map that has those tiny, crappy-ass trees in them ever again. Just ain't happening, Captain. I can make you that promise today. But from some of the footage I saw, I'm hoping that that's no longer going to be an issue. It looks like there's some straighter trees. Potentially. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not talking about the next game until I play it. Other thing is, if you get really lazy, we can just do double stemming. Snip those. You don't get as great of a result when you do double stemming, because you're kind of eyeballing it. But I always try to cut it. If I am double stemming, I try to cut it under as opposed to over. So I make it a teeny bit shorter than the overall length, because what'll happen is if I'm out here cutting these shorter than our overall length, that's totally fine, because when I'm loading up the bunks, and if the bunks are tight, I won't have long pieces sticking out. It'll still be uniform, nice squares. I'll be able to butt it up really easy. Now, if I, excuse me, if I cut them too long, like when I'm manually stemming, if I cut them way too long this way, then you're going to have them sticking out. So then when you go to butt up your ends, one will always be sticking out one end or the other. So it's a little bit better to avoid that if you can. Again, just some time experience stuff. If you're into this stuff, you'll do her. Okay, again, double stemming. Here we go. So it's like I said, we're going to measure it out. That looks pretty darn close, so I'm going to snip that there. Again, it's a little short. In real life, you would not pass a BC processor thing if you did it this way, because they have to be to a specific length, and if you're eyeballing it, yeah, they don't like that. Maybe in Alberta you get away with that, though, because in Alberta they don't give a crap. There, it's like, oh, as long as the tree doesn't come in as a full tree with limbs on it, I think they accept it. Just kidding, Alberta. I love you guys. Actually, I would love to go log in Alberta. I bet that would be freaking a time. So again, just a little bit undercut. Not a crazy amount of undercut, but a little bit. And I don't even want those ends. Those are just gross. So we'll chuck those over there. Don't want them, don't need them. Then we're back into the big trees here a little bit, so that'll kind of get us out of that cycle. Now, I should back up a bit here, but I'm really balancing on this tree stump under us that we're sitting on, or this log. So I don't really want to go back too far. But I think I'm probably not going to have much of an option here. Okay, so let's take a little trek backwards and see what happens here. Oh, I think we found a nice pocket here. We're not doing the tipsy-turvies, so that's good. Oh, yeah, we are still a little bit. Okay, so where's our track? Oh, we just need a little thin piece. I could probably stick a top under there. Maybe this one right here. Oh. Just got to give that head a good wave here. We'll go fishing. Whoop, cast and catch. Ah, so close. It's like a carnival game. There you go. Okay, so let's use this piece. I'm actually going to dump this other piece here because you've done a great job. You can return back to your fleet, little log. And just dump that back into the pile. Okay, so now this one. Whoop. Let's see here. We'll put it like right there. I could also probably process from right here as well. So again, the only reason I'm really switching to this view here is because in real life you can lean down and look at your tracks while you're walking, and it's a little tricky in this game. How's that? There we go. Yeah, that's good. I don't know how long that'll last. It's a weird shaped piece of wood, but we'll try it out. So again, like I said, little techniques you can do to kind of balance yourself out when you're in a weird spot. I always recommend just using one log if you're going to use it for propping your track up. In real life, you can stick all kinds of stuff under there. You can pile pile tops and wood and pieces, whatever you want. But in this game, because they don't interact super well with all that tree weight on them, it's better to better to have just the one log that the physics have to interact with. Your machine will be happier for it. And my pile's slouching, so I'm going to give it a little whack here. There you go. That's a little bit better. Not fantastic, but better. So like I said, we have the option of bringing that loader down here and just loading from this deck right onto the truck. But because it's such a sketch-ass little area here, I'm thinking probably better if we forward it up to that landing. Then we could just bench load from up there. And you know what? I don't want that piece. I know I've cut the other ones, but screw it. Let's get this big one out of the way. I think I'm losing my top under my tire here. Using tapered logs to stand on top of in this game is not great because they have a thin point and they slowly kind of creep away. It's kind of a weird shaped log here. When it starts getting really weird and bendy, then I give up. It's actually not too bad. A little bendy at the end, but that's okay. We can make it work. That's okay. We can make it work. So again, give it a little tap here. Emotional love support tap. And it'll spin around. We should be able to get this whole pile before the end of the video here. And then once we're done with this pile, I'll sally forth onto greater goods. Okay, so here we go again. Double stemming. So we're going to do a real light, medium cut. Let's do about there. Screw it. Good enough. And we can probably get one more out of it just for fun, even though we're kind of pushing the limits there. There we go. Okay. It's good to use up those little sticks. I don't really care if they're too short. Honestly, for the trailer we're going to be loading it into, I'm really not concerned. Because it's that 4-bunk one, so there's actually a lot of room for play. I think my machine is sliding forward. That, or I'm having a brain aneurysm. One or the other. Probably the machine sliding forward, though. Probably a higher % chance. How's our little stick doing under there? Well, it's still there, but yeah, she don't really love it. She don't love it. Okay, so let's slide this stuff this way. Another thing you do is chuck your wood forward a bit. That will help you out quite a bit. Look at this nice little bundle. Chuck that over there. Kind of helps move your wood in a direction so you're not swinging as much. Of course, if the sticks are all stuck together, that's not good either. Just kind of wanted to pull this. Oh, geez, easy now. Don't want it swinging back at our cab. There we go. Again, on flat ground, obviously much easier to keep your machine nice and sturdy while you're doing this. This is a little bit trickier. I'm too lazy to multi-stem. I'm just going to run it. Boop, ba-da, boop, boop. But it's a nice little deck that we got going here. That's why I kind of almost didn't want to forward it. I was like, dang, that's actually pretty good looking. We should just bring a loader in. I mean, we could bring a loader in and challenge ourselves to try to load it. And then you guys can watch as I suffer miserably trying to load a trailer from that angle. So another thing, if you only think you're going to get one cut, so I know I'm only going to get one cut out of these, so I don't really care. So I can snip that. I'm only going to do $1, so I'm going to just run it out to wherever I feel comfortable, like probably about there. And then the rest of it, I'm just going to chuck it because I don't want those little pieces in there. So that's fine. But when you get a couple of trees that you know, so these two, like out of the clear white one with the white bark, I know I'm only going to get one cut, but the other one I might get 2, possibly 3 cuts. So what'll happen is I can run this out for the first grab to get both stems. So let's do that. Then what I'll do is I'm actually going to run one off, drop it, pick up the other one. Oops, that's not the one I want. I want the other one. So we're going to kick that one out, and we'll run this one a second time because I know I can get more tree out of it. I don't know if that's faster or slower than just tossing one and re-grabbing another tree, but yeah, it does the trick anyway. All right, there we go. Look at this nice little deck here. It's playing nice, settling well. Hopefully loads well. That's the next hope. Sweet. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to actually back up off our stick that we got on the ground here. I'm going to leave that stick there, though, because you never know if we're going to need that again. It's a terrible stick. Oops, am I running into our nice pile that we built back here? Oh, not quite. Okay, we can keep going. I just thought about it now, and I'm like, wait, wasn't there a pile of shorts behind us? Uh-oh. Okay, so I'm going to camp this right here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to turn it this way so my butt isn't sticking out when we were pulling them down the hill. Okay, so we're going to leave it at that for this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We got to see some horrible hill processing, and we talked a little bit about implements and all that fun stuff. So yeah, in the next episode, we will continue on the fray here. We're going to have to keep processing. We got a few more bundles of wood to bring down the hill, but nothing too crazy. And then we're going to start from the bottom. So we're going to be bunching, and we're laying all the wood downhill instead of up. And then we're going to be hauling the wood back up and processing it from hopefully one of these angles here. We'll have to figure out where the best spot is. And then forward and pile and forward and pile. Oh, it's going to be fun. Over and over and over. All right, guys. Well, we'll leave it at that, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.